Hey guys, um, this is a bit difficult for me. Not something I usually do. I'm going kind of outside my comfort zone with this. I figured I'd just have, since I'm going to be talking about Diablo 3, I'd have it in the background. That's why I've gone like full screen. Um, I did change the camera a bit so you can you see more, and if I move my hands, you might see that. I think I do that. I'm not sure, but a bit. Um, I just wanted to sort of talk like just about Diablo 3, my opinions on certain things like the balance change, the changes since I last played a few months ago. Um, Things I don't like, things I do like. I guess I'll start with the things I do like. Um, Nephilim Glory is awesome. It's pretty cool. It's fun. I wish it dropped more often. Hold on. Options, sound. I wish Nephilim Glory was around, and Pools of Reflection as well. Pools of Reflection are amazing. Probably one of the favorite things about Rebirth of Souls, and that they added into the game. Nephilim Glory as well. The two top things. Pools of Reflection, especially if you get it stacked and you never die. You could have it almost infinitely. I wish it, but at the same time, you can almost never. Sometimes you just never get it. So I do wish maybe there was a bit more of it. Maybe instead of the experience shrine, which is like 25 or 30% extra XP for just straight up 10 minutes, they instead of that you could potentially have a chance at an extra pools of reflection or something like that. You know, because the experience shrine is kind of silly. I'd rather have movement speed or attack speed or the cooldown reduction or something like that. And then the Nephilim Glory is just a really cool mechanic, and it's really fun, especially on something like the Barbarian or the Crusader. If you're doing like a build that has your primary ability as single target, it's a nice little chain effect. Oh, and as well as area damage. I don't know if it. I can't be too sure of how effective it has been. It's hard to tell. I know it works. It happens. It's 20% chance. It's quite a bit of RNG in there. 1 out of 5 if you're lucky, but it's not necessarily 1 out of 5. It's just straight up each hit has 20% chance to do that extra damage. But there is a lot of potential there. Like I said, for something like the Barbarian, maybe that build I had with the Boulder Toss, because um, if you do 2 million damage and you have 50% area damage and you get the proc, that's a million damage to another million damage to everything else around the enemy you hit. That's huge, especially if you're running like on the Crusader, you're using Punish, which is a very heavy, hard-hitting single target ability, and that block chance you get and the runes to have when you block gain attack speed, or um, to do like thorns style damage to the enemy that you block, those sorts of things. There's a lot of potential there, but area damage like rarely ever appears. I have 25% because I crafted 4 pieces of this set because I like having old greens and legendaries, in here, and that's just from the 3 set. I had more, but I switched this to resource cost reduction because I changed my build around. I'm casting a lot more spells at slot. You know, it's not a straight up summoner build anymore. It wasn't functioning the way I wanted it to. That's another thing. The AI on the pets I think is pretty bad. Each one will attack something different. You have 6 dogs and each one will attack something different. And if you're chasing down and focusing a target, let's say like the treasure pygmy, and you pass other enemies, they'll stop chasing it and go attack those other enemies. I've lost treasure pygmies like that so many times. I mean, I don't even half the time try chasing them anymore because I don't really have high enough single target damage to kill him on Torment 1 at the moment. I have managed to get my damage up to 303,000 on here, but I don't know if I could kill him with this build. It's pretty AoE oriented, Rift oriented specifically. I have been enjoying the Rifts. Originally, I didn't really like them. They didn't seem to have a much better drop rate on loot, and the sheer RNG of it. One time you get massive mob density, next you get like none. I didn't like the inconsistency of it, and I enjoyed the bounties because it gave me something to focus on, something to shoot for, like an end goal of completing it all, and you get XP for each one, plus completion, which is and gold for each one. So I liked that, but at the same time there was still variety because I was doing different acts and different parts of different acts, fighting different enemies, and sometimes it's a go kill this guy, sometimes it's a complete this event, and those are really nice because you get the XP for completing the event and the XP and gold, of course. I always forget to mention gold, for completing the bounty. But now I am 100% sure you get way more loot from the Nephilim rifts. They are supposed to be loot runs, so that makes sense. And almost every single time I've gotten a Forgotten Soul, I don't have any at the moment. That's the level 70 legendary crafting material off the Rift Guardians, which is why I was able to craft the Demon Hide set. Um, so where was I? I was talking about things I like. Nephilim Glory, Pools of Reflection, although I wish there was more of both of those. Area damage, conceptually, I like the idea of it. I haven't really tried building around it because there's so many other stats I want to re-roll, for intellect or usually intellect or vitality. Although I haven't really had any issues getting vitality on my gear, I'm usually rolling for intellect or just re-rolling something I don't want, like damage for an ability I don't use. I believe that 380 armor at one point it was fire bats, and I'm not using fire bats anymore. But at the same time, I don't have the crafting materials to keep re-rolling just to get the one stat, that one specific stat, and it's not really worth it. It's better to just go for the next best thing to get rid of the bad stat. And then to get the 50% area damage from here, you would need 200 Paragon levels. I'm at 92. 200 to get 50 in one category in each of these, and because you have to go one at a time, which it makes sense, and I like that. The Paragon system's really nice. Um, but you know, so then now I guess other than that, I like the balance changes, like the change to Fetish Sycophants and to Fierce Loyalty, and then there's some I noticed on the Crusader that were changed, that I actually noticed that they were changed and improved, and some of the changes to the abilities. I can't name too many specific ones, but I like where they're going with that, and I hope the balance changes continue to be as solid and well-rounded as they have been so far. Um, Things I don't like, the AI for the pets, particularly, I don't notice it so much on the Fetish Sycophants because you just have so many of them and they just stack and stack and stack, and that's the whole point of having them, is just to have them, and you have a ton of them and it's just virtually free damage, and I can't think of anything else in here I would rather have at the moment than Fetish Sycophants. I liked it from the beginning, even before they changed it and made it way better. Just a straight up 10% chance when you cast this spell. When you hit enemies with your spell, okay. It used to be when you cast a physical realm spell and there was like a list of spells. This is way better. But the AI on the zombie dogs, even the follower, I notice it mostly on the Templar. It's a problem. He'll waste his charge on the most random enemy. And the dogs, they never focused anything. They just run around, do whatever the hell they want, and that's a problem. And because I love the witch doctor so much, and I like having pets to summon, that's I like that. I like that. I think they're great. And if I had there's one legendary I had on hardcore at one point. There's a helm increased my pet damage by 96%. If I had that, I would be running a full summoner build. I would have my dogs. I would probably be having fear. Oh, actually, I might not use fierce loyalty. One extra dog is nice. Five is enough. But the movement speed out of combat isn't entirely necessary. And I found I'd rather have something like Pierce the Veil, or what else was I? I was running something else earlier. Maybe even that if I'm on hardcore, which I'm not at the moment. I was actually using Tribal Right. No, no, no. Where is it? 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 Is it Gruesome Feast? Grave Injustice. There it is. I was doing a build with that. I had my dogs, and I had this Fetish Sycophant, and then I had Midnight Feast and Zombie Handler, increased pet damage and health, and my health as well. And my cooldowns on piranhas, basically, I was spamming piranhas and Grasp of the Dead because their cooldowns were coming up so fast, especially with the amount of enemies you get to kill in the Nephilimorphs. But once again, I still had the issue of the dogs being annoying and not focusing things, so I continued to work on the build, and I came up with this, and I'm enjoying it, and it's working. Um, I also the only other I never liked the Scoundrel. I'm just gonna mention it, may as well. From the beginning, I didn't like him. Like the abilities and whatnot, that's all fine, but that could be placed onto anybody. I don't like his character at all. He's cliched, unoriginal. It's just so. I mean, a thief with a heart of gold who made some mistakes, got his brother in trouble, and is helping out the family with the money he makes traveling. I mean, like, come on. They could have done something so much better or cooler or relevant to the story, and the way they placed them in Act 1, so random. It just, but that's what we've got, and I can live with it. It's not like a deal breaker or anything of that kind of sort. But the biggest thing, the biggest complaint, would be the way progression sort of stops when you hit level 70. Sure, you have the Paragon levels, and getting the first 80 actually went pretty fast, and that was fun. And I leveled I got at first I did the Crusader to 70 all the way, got some Paragon levels, and I leveled my Witch Doctor to 70, got more Paragon, then my Wizard to 70, got more Paragon levels, and now I've gotten more since I started playing again. Although I always spent a bit too much time, I think, on hardcore. It's just not worth it to put that kind of time into it if you're just going to end up dying. And I have been dying, which it happens. It's partly crappy builds, crappy gear, but it's mostly just my actual skill and my ability, my reaction times. They'll get better as I play more, but at the moment, for me, hardcore it's not worth it. It's not even necessarily harder. The game isn't any more difficult or challenging on hardcore. It's the exact same game, but if you die, you lose everything. Virtually everything. You lose the character and everything the character had, and all that time and effort you put into the character. Aside from the stash and your crafters and how you've leveled that up and all the patterns you've gotten, that's all you get to keep. But you hit level 70 and suddenly you're not getting. When you're leveling up, you're constantly getting gear levels, um, legendaries, set pieces, just all the new abilities and the runes. There's just so much progression, and it feels rewarding because you're getting something for what you're doing, and then you hit level 70 and you're lucky to get a piece that has better stats. Aside from when you first hit level 70 and you first replace your leveling gear, you can play hours and hours and hours and not get a single thing. I crafted, like I said, this set particularly today because I just wanted to have greens. I didn't want to have set pieces. I wanted to have legendaries. I didn't want all that yellow. And the set bonuses are decent. The 6,000 fire thorns damage and the area damage, and even the 4 set is decent, and I'm sure I'm getting use out of it. But this pieces weren't necessarily better than what I had before. I had to re-roll them to get intellect. I had to remove stats that were just bad. Like here, I have armor just because what was there was useless to me. Place. This one doesn't even. I can't re-roll it because I don't have the materials. Doesn't even have intellect. I'll probably re-roll the armor and try to get intellect, but I got the or the sockets. Probably not the sockets. I'd probably keep those. But I just put the highest intellect gems I had in there. Uh, you know, but otherwise I'm not getting anything. I'm getting tons of plans, particularly bows. Like I've got 2 bows here. I've got this one, and on hardcore I got a bunch of plans for bows and crossbows and the hand ones, the demon hunter specific ones. I don't even play the demon hunter at all. I just don't particularly enjoy it. I have to give it another try. If for no other reason than this, I got this recently. Obviously I got the demon set. I got the Oghild set. I've got this. And that's fine. I can't actually craft them, but hey, I've got them for the next character maybe. When I stop deciding to upgrade this character's gear and just save all the materials, I don't know, but that's just my biggest complaint is the way the progression just sort of stops. And it's not like we're getting new content every month, like a game like Path of Exile. I prefer Diablo 3 hands down, and I think it's the better game. At the core of it, the core gameplay is better and more fluid and more fun. The graphics are better, it's more dynamic, all of that. And I think, kind of personally believe the skill tree system in Path of Exile and the whole crafting system is kind of gimmicky and was specifically done to make it appear. It's the perception you're getting more customization and more options when you're really not. With the gems as well, the skill gems, you have just as much customization with the passive system and the rune system and the paragon system. It's just streamlined, it's more efficient, the abilities are cooler. you know I would pick Diablo 3 any day. And if you really thought about it, it's not even more money. I bought Diablo 3 at the $60 price, and then the expansion was $40, and that's $100 over 3 years. What? It's been 3 years, right? Maybe a little more. $100. You could spend. I imagine some people, in a free-to-play game, don't spend any money, and when you create a free-to-play game, you take that chance, that risk, that some people aren't going to buy anything and ever support your game. But most people will buy something every now and again, and there's that perception that, oh, it's only $10 or it's only $5. It's just this one time, right? It's not like I'm paying $60 up front. That's a lot of money. But if you spent $10 every single month for a year while playing Path of Exile, that's $120. 3 years, I spent $100 on Diablo 3. I'd pick this pricing model any day. Although, the expansion could have been $10 less. I paid $40, and I'm happy with it, and I'm okay with that, but it could have been $10 less. Considering all you got was the act and the class. That's all you got for paying $40. And I pre-ordered, so I got the wings. And I guess I got something for the MOBA, but I don't even have access to that yet. So this is my. Does this count as a rant? I think a little bit, maybe. I don't know. We'll call it a rant. It's really long, 20 minutes. I'm surprised I pulled it off. I'm surprised I was able to talk that long. No, I can talk if I really want to. I wonder, you know what? If you sit through this and watch to the end, I'm trying to think of something for you to say in the comments, even if it's just that one word. What do we? Um, I'm trying too hard. I'm trying to be clever or something. Uh, just put uh, Diablo love because I love this game. And if you're watching this, it's because you probably love it too and play it a lot. And if you made it to the end, that's because you play it a lot and you love the game. So Diablo love. Just put it in the comments if you stuck all the way to the end. All right. See you guys next.